everyone, Katie Sutton here, intuitive channel and founder of Zen Within Academy, here with your February 2021 energy update. We have three themes that I'd like to share with you this month. The first is a deeper understanding of self. The second is multidimensional healing. And the third is an anchoring of self-love. So stay tuned for the rest of the energy update. Hey everybody, I hope you're doing well. I can't believe that it's already February. You might notice that my surroundings look a little bit different this time. It's because I'm recording live from a little farmhouse that I've been staying at for the last couple of days up in North Carolina. And the reason why I came here is really centered around the themes that we have in February, all about the self and reconnecting with the self. And so, January was a very, very busy month. We worked with freedom, we worked with prosperity, and, we worked with the energy of paradigm shift and change. And I've heard from many people, and I myself have experienced that January was full of a lot of chaotic distraction energy and busy. And February is going to be a little bit different. We've got a Mercury retrograde starting on January 30th. That's going to run through February 20th. And that means that we're going to slow down a little bit. We're going to finish things up. We're going to go back and reassess, re-examine things. And so with that in mind, let me share with you the energy themes of the month. So the first theme that I want to talk about is understanding self. And, last month we worked on freedom, and one of the things that I talked about was this idea of finding freedom when we're in a constrictive situation. And one of the surprising ways that I started to see that show up for people that I wasn't expecting was this idea of finding freedom within the roles that we play in our life. And we're going to build on that this month. What I'm noticing in session with my clients and in my own exploration of my evolutionary process is that I'm wanting to separate myself from the roles that I have played my whole life. And that doesn't mean that I'm no longer going to be those things. It just means I don't want to be defined by those roles or put in a box anymore. And this idea of understanding self is really us dropping into a deeper understanding of the qualities that we carry and realizing that those qualities are inherent across all of the different landscapes and roles that we participate in our life. And this month, we're going to have some opportunity, especially with Mercury being retrograde, to kind of reassess and go internal to understand what it is that we want to prioritize as we move forward. And there may be an opportunity to reclaim some qualities that you've lost from roles that you've played previously. And there may also be an opportunity for you to re-examine some qualities that you've been carrying for quite some time that maybe you don't want to carry anymore. And, within that, there's a belief that if we're holding certain roles that we're limited by them. And that's not necessarily true. We don't have to be fully limited by the roles that we play. Certainly, if you're a mom or a wife or a business owner, there's certain things, certain responsibilities that you carry, but it's possible for us to expand the joy and the love and the qualities that we carry on an individual level within those roles. And to put those roles aside at certain times, especially when we're on our own, right? I'm hearing from many people that it's been very, very difficult for them to feel like even when they have free pockets of time to be able to use it in a way that fuels them. And so February is going to be about really shifting some of those deep understandings of self in terms of what we need and how we want to show up. And you may find this month that you have a desire to drop into doing things very differently with your body, with your mental health, with your diet, with your relationships, because as we re-examine ourselves and start to understand ourselves at a deeper level, we might realize that some of the things that we've been saying yes to or participating in actually don't fit. And so there may be some letting go this month as you start to more deeply understand yourself. And my guidance would be to just be really present with what feels good in the body, with what makes your heart sing and what brings you love. And if you can expand into those areas a bit more, then that will make space for the things that are not in alignment to naturally start to release. This isn't really us coming in and having to unearth things and shove them out of our life. It's more of a looking at and a leaning into what works so that the things that don't can start to fall away. It's a very, very gentle process of understanding the self at a deeper level. And the last thing that I'll say about that is you might notice that you have questions for people around you, right? You might be asking, like, how do you see me? How do I show up for you? Who am I in this relationship? And you might be looking for some mirroring or some information from those around you on really how you're showing up and how they perceive you. And this is beautiful. This is a beautiful piece of inquiry that I think we're going to go through this month that isn't so much about us changing who we are to make other people happy because they perceive us in a way that we don't feel we're showing up in, but really just an understanding of the lens that other people have when they view us. That can be such a valuable tool for us as we recalibrate our understanding of self. So that's the first theme, and I really look forward to seeing how that presents itself this month. And the second theme is this idea of multidimensional healing. And it's very much related to the first theme, actually. When I do healing sessions with people, I'm very aware that when I'm working with them, I'm working on a multidimensional level. Meaning we may be having a conversation about something that's happening on the horizontal plane in the now moment here on this earth experience, like a job or a relationship or some difficulties that they're having in their life. But when I'm talking with them about that, I can see with my psychic senses all of the other layers that are at play when I'm having that conversation with them. So there may be a past life component. There may be a component that is related to some karmic cycles that they're participating in. Their higher self may be bringing in soul contracts for them with certain individuals so that they can move through lessons. There's so much happening because we're aware of such a small little snippet of the dimensionality that exists here on this plane. And so what I'm noticing is that many of my clients are starting to expand their awareness. So rather than just being in this very simple now moment here in the third dimension, we're starting to expand into the other dimensions. For some of you, that might look like your senses expanding. It might look like you having really interesting dream experiences. For others of you, you might be finding really deep patterns, especially as you start the first theme of understanding self. And as you find those really deep patterns, you may say, gosh, this feels really ingrained in me. It feels way bigger than me. It feels like I'm tapping into something that the collective is moving through and something that my mom or my dad moved through as well. And this feels multifaceted. And so, if you're not adjusted to this multidimensionality, it can be a little bit overwhelming because what may happen is that a pattern presents itself and then all of these situations in your life start popping up to show you all of the different facets of it. Because most of us are not trained to be able to feel into the multidimensionality of ourselves. And so the only way that we can really experience that is what is reflected in the experience that we're comfortable in. And so if you find yourself going into deep discovery of old patterns in a multidimensional way this month, don't be surprised. And the other thing that I want to say about this is, and this is going to lend into the third theme around self-love, but we have such a limited understanding of the work that we're doing. So I know that many of you that watch my videos are doing really, really deep spiritual work, and you're probably beating yourselves up because you feel like you're not doing fast enough or you're not doing it well enough or whatever negative self-talk you have is at play. But you have to understand that because we are working on all of these dimensional levels at once, and this is not unique to me, right? This is happening across the board. We're just not aware of it, that we need to give ourselves a little bit more credit if we're tired, if we need more sleep, if we maybe need more exercise, if we need to change our diet. We need to be more mindful of the fact that just because we've always done something in our daily life, like our job or caring for the kids or whatever it is, and all of a sudden it feels a little bit harder, feels a little bit faster paced or a little bit more overwhelming, it may be because you're working out stuff on so many multidimensional levels. And so when my guide shared this with me, it was almost like I could take a deep breath, because I do so much work with people, but I'm also doing a lot of my own personal work. And if I have a day where I just want to lay down and be still and not do anything, then it's okay, right? It's really okay for me to lean into that. And one of the reasons why I came here this weekend was to just have some time by myself. And I had all these great grandiose plans of everything that I was going to get accomplished. And some of it happened, but a lot of it was just me being present here on the land with the animals that are here, and just kind of reconnecting with my inner child who loves to go out into the woods and just walk around and be really present in that. And so remember that you're doing so much more than you realize, right? And that doesn't even include the fact that we have a pandemic happening and all of these other things happening, right? So please, please, please be easier on yourselves as you step into this awareness that you're healing on a multidimensional level, okay? And that just takes me right into the third theme. The third theme is all about this anchoring of self-love. And self-love is such a big topic. You know, I know February is all about love. And gosh, it's really time that we start to love ourselves now. I did a really beautiful post recently about on my Facebook page and my social media about this idea that we need to love ourselves now. Not when we're 10 pounds lighter or 20 pounds wiser or 20 years wiser. Not when the kids are fed and the chores are done and everybody's happy. But we need to start to love ourselves now. And it seems like such a simple concept, but so many of us are conditioned that we have to wait until the next thing happens and then we're going to love ourselves. And that puts that continual carrot dangling in front of us that we never actually access and reach. And so then we can't love ourselves in the moment, and it makes it very, very difficult for us to hold space and love people around us. And, you know, I feel like I talk about love a lot, but this idea of internalizing it and dropping really deeply into your heart space and letting your heart expand into the knowing that whatever is happening for you right now and whatever you're moving through, you can love yourself now, not later. And then when we anchor that and we bring that in as an understanding, so much of the other aspects of our life begin to shift and begin to change. And so I just want you all to hear that as a really important message of February. I know that February is also about Valentine's Day and loving everybody around us. But what I'm realizing at a really, really deep level is if I can't figure out how to love myself unconditionally, then I'm not going to be able to do that for other people. I may be able to step into it in pockets of time, but to hold that as my consistent frequency where I'm channeling that love all the time is really, really difficult if I haven't come into that deep belief of self-love. And so this month you might find certain patterns or certain negative self-talk that you've carried for a really long time that you're just done with. I'm noticing a lot that there are people that have been carrying weight, meaning they've been carrying responsibility or carrying emotional baggage for those around them, and they just are telling me, Katie, I'm just done with that. I can't do that anymore. It's depleting me, and I'm realizing that when I'm holding that for that one person, I can't be there for myself and I can't be there for anybody else. So it's really, really important this month that you start to evaluate all of that energy going out in terms of all the love going out. And if you're able to see something beautiful in somebody outside of yourself, it's only because it exists inside of you as well, right? And if we all started to step into this place of deeper understanding of ourselves and this idea that we're healing on a multidimensional level so we can be easier on ourselves and not beat ourselves up when we're tired, then we can step into this deep, deep, deep anchoring of self-love. And I know that that is what is going to shift this planet. That is how change is going to happen. It's not going to happen at the top of the house. It's not going to happen in the old structures. We have to build new things from this place of self-love. And I talked a lot about, at the end of last year, this idea of community and autonomy. And we've swung the pendulum now towards a community-focused way of being, but we still have to be in our autonomy. We still have to be in that place of unique understanding of self so that we can bring our gifts forward as we build this new earth frequency. So this is a really beautiful month to go deep, my friends, to really drop into you. And whatever practices you have that help you to do that are great. Last month, writing came in a really big way, and I think we're going to start to see that continuing for some of us who really want to express in that way, whether it's journaling or putting something out there. You may also want to drop into your creativity or maybe get up and dance in the morning. I've been finding that the easiest and fastest way for me to step back into loving myself is to put on some music that I really love in the morning and just move around the house as I'm doing my chores and my stuff in the kitchen and getting ready for my day. And it helps me remember what it feels like to be in joy and to be in love within myself. So whatever it is that fuels you, don't be shy about taking time to do that this month. With the Mercury retrograde, the pace will slow down a little bit, and so you might have longer pockets of time. And so don't be frozen in those pockets of time. Realize that you, even if you only have an hour, that's an hour that you can devote to something that really brings about this deep self-love and this joy and this happiness. So that's the message of February. It's all about love, my friends. And I love all of you. I'm so happy to have you as a part of this community. In this month's Healing Circle, we will be focused on self-love. We're going to be really working with that last theme. And I have some interesting ways that I think that that's going to come in. That will be on, I think it's right before Valentine's Day on Wednesday, February 13th in the evening at 7:30 p.m. So at any rate, look for those details below the video. I hope you all are so well. I am about to head out of here. I've been here all weekend and it's been raining today, so I'm just gonna pack up all my stuff and head home, and I hope you all have a beautiful month, and thank you so much for tuning in. I've got some really exciting projects that I'm working on, not ready to release them yet. They're in the works though, so stay tuned for more information about that. All right, have a great month, everyone. Thank you for being here.